forwards. Hello. All right, so today I'm going to talk you about one of the most effective animal rights type of action, which is vegan outreach, and in my opinion, and it's probably a fact, the most effective way to do animal rights outreach and vegan outreach. Something that I wanted to address is that often in the vegan movement and with new activists, there is always this feeling of we have to try, we have different opinion, you know, why is your way better than mine? And I'm asking you to be humble towards an organization that has been in the game for 8 years, has done thousands of actions, and not random actions. They've been focusing on one type of action, which is the Cube of Truth, and they aim to be professional, and they aim to be the most effective. And they became the most effective by making small adjustment, action after action, after action, after action. So this is the Cube of Truth. So basically we stand on the street showing slaughterhouse footage and standard practices of the meat, dairy, and egg industry. And we will approach people that stops, because we aim to have conversation with people who are open and willing to have a conversation. We're not looking for debates. So what is veganism? This is very important because there is a lot of confusion around the word vegan in the vegan community. In fact, just yesterday, as I was working inside of the room for the speech, there was a doctor repeating multiple times, vegan diet, vegan diet, vegan diet. Veganism is not a diet. The original definition of veganism was coined by Leslie Cross, the vice president and co-founder of Vegan Society in 1951, and is the doctrine that man should live without exploiting animals. It's not about environment, it's not about health, it's not about love or positivity or reduction of suffering. It's only about the fact that if you are vegan, you are a human who does not exploit animals. So what is vegan outreach? Speaking up for non-human animals the same way that you would like to be spoken for if you were in the victim position. It's not about giving information, but holding individuals accountable, because this is what's missing. People know these things already. We don't even really need to show slaughterhouse footage anymore. Everyone already has seen those footages, and they think it's horrible. But what's missing? It's missing the action, it's missing the change. It's missing someone pressuring them to understand that it's their fault if this is happening. And based on what we just said, when we are having those conversations, whether, by the way, this approach can be applied to your day-to-day life, all right, and other actions based on animal rights. And when you have conversation about veganism and about animal rights, you got to remember that it's not only you and the non-vegan having this conversation. It's you, the non-vegans, and the animals. And the non-vegan, even though we're giving this person an opportunity to understand and change, it's a matter of fact that they are the oppressor. So don't pander. Everyone knows what pandering means? Okay, so So pandering means when you're over agreeable, where you're trying to be liked from the person you're talking to. Okay? And what are you doing is you're prioritizing that. You're prioritizing the fact that you want to be liked by the person you're talking to, okay, over the animals, over the victims. For example, if someone is telling you, but plants feel pain too, and you answer, yeah, I understand what you mean. No, you don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. No one thinks plants and animals is the same thing. Do not give them your energies. What they're trying to do is putting the focus on something else. They're trying to confuse you so they don't have to be held accountable. It's your job to set the pace as an animal rights activist. You are representing the animals. If you do not make important that the victims are the most important thing in the conversation, and dumb excuses do not justify animal exploitation, no one will do it. Again, and if you ponder, actually, non-vegans will lose respect for you because they know that you're not being strong in your position. You're following their bullshit. They know that what they're saying doesn't make sense. Don't play games, all right? You need to accept that it's unrealistic that everyone is going to go vegan, all right? The world is full of injustice and wars and discrimination, okay? Humans are scumbags. They're selfish. So stop thinking that there are specific words that you can say and processes and games and psychological things that you can use to make people vegan. And I would like to raise awareness of the fact that at the end of the day, the most famous animal rights activists are people like Joy Armstrong and Earthling Ed. Amazing job, love them, but there is a difference between what works and what gets attention, all right? So being an Earthling Ed, finding the perfect answer doesn't make people vegan, all right? It's just a way of addressing that. But being direct is the best way to talk about animal rights. Feeling frustrated is your responsibility. Who here feels frustrated most of the time when you're having conversation with non-vegans? Raise your hand. Frustration everywhere, frustration everywhere. That's normal because you're focusing on the wrong person. If this person keeps making excuses, that's it. Next person, it's like dating, all right? You find a wife, a husband, after you've dated a different person. Same thing with animal rights. You got to find the people that have a vegan inside. Don't talk with the persons and the people that don't care. This approach is pure honesty at the end of the day. When you're telling someone the truth, when you're telling them they are the cause of animal exploitations and the horror that are happening to animals, you're not being aggressive, you're telling the truth. Don't be scared of telling the truth. Sometimes people think that they should be going through other ways. Let's get them first to understand the health and the environment, and then maybe they connect to the animals. No, you are wasting your time. Be straightforward is the best thing that you can do. And also, what are we doing when we put health, environmental issues in the conversation of animal rights? What are we saying? We're saying that the victims are not that important. It's you that need to send the right message, even if the right message means leaving the conversation. And tell this person, this is not a conversation about environment. We're talking about animals here. I want to talk about the environment. Then you don't care about animals, leave. End. And you will see people respecting you from doing that. The other way around is just a waste of time and reduces the strength of the message. Does it make sense so far? Yeah. Yes? Again, don't talk about health and environment. You know, for the health part, you know, if you think that while you're doing animal rights, you're doing something good about talking about the benefits of a vegan diet, why don't you go around and talk to everyone? And that you see, you know, lacking physical activity or obese, you know, why don't you go to every single person in the streets and be an activist for their health, right? You don't do that, okay? Why do you think you need to do that while you're talking about animal rights? You don't need to do that. And also, you can be vegan and unhealthy. That's not a moral obligation. There are vegan cigarettes, you know? It's fine. People don't have a moral obligation. They have it for themselves, for sure, they should. But it's not your responsibility to make people healthy. You can try, but again, it's not included in the conversation of animal rights. And when it comes to the environmental issues, I like this example. So imagine we have an orphanage where children are being raped, right? And those children, they come from Romania. Do we talk about the gasoline of the transportation of these children from Romania to wherever they go? Or we talk about the victims, right? Don't talk about the environmental impact. So how to respond to the health questions? This is also very important because now, what I've said, okay, is mainly about the fact that you do want to deviate too much the conversation and bring it back to the ethics and to the victims. That doesn't mean that you need to disregard completely the questions of the non-vegan you're talking to. You can answer. Your job is, though, to bring it back to the ethics and the victims. When it comes to the health questions, you have to keep it simple. Most of you, I believe, are not doctors and not nutritionists, right? You are learning things online from other specialists, okay? So why do you think you have so much knowledge when you have conversations with non-vegans? And again, it's not really important to give a lot of specifics informations about a plant-based diet. All they need to know is that it's possible to be healthy at every stages of life eating a plant-based diet. And science is on our side. That's it. That's the end of it. And also, I really like to focus more on the fact that I'm talking in front of them. Like, it's not possible to be vegan, bro. You know, look at me. You know, like, what are you saying? And also, you know, we have 10 more activists around you. Like, are you sure it's not possible? Because I'm alive in front of you. And if they keep, you know, trying to make you think that they think it's not possible, well, tell them, look, you're just making up things. The reality is you can be healthy as a vegan. Which injustice we want like what happens to animals be compared to? And this is a mistake I used to do. I tend to talk people about dogs. Like, let's make them kind of empathize with dogs first and then with animals. But then I've learned that we are creating an extra unnecessary step. Because the best way to make people empathize with the injustice that's happening to animals is to put them in the victim position, not their dog, right? Because they can love their dog and not caring about animals, the other animals, right? So don't do dog comparison, go straight into putting the non-vegan in the victim position, right? So this is the best way to address any excuse, right? Let's say they say they are Muslims. So this is very common where I live in Spain. And they tell you that, well, the halal way is good, all right? Just knife across the throat. Apparently it's nice. And yeah, you tell them, like, would that treatment be okay for you if you were in the victim position? Oh no, of course, yes, of course not. So that's a very quick and easy way to address most excuses, really. Statistics, keep them minimal. I used to use statistics too, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if 30,000 animals per second die, or 60,000, or how many male chicks are killed per year. No, it's about each and every of these individuals that are exploited unnecessarily. So statistics, I think, can be used if you have them to emphasize your answer that you're giving, right? But it doesn't have to become a conversation about statistics, because then, again, you're going back into pondering, all right? If the non-vegan is coming back to you with more statistics, and you keep the conversation about statistics, you're losing the plot. You're losing focus. The Socratic method, this is, I think, one of the most important conversational tools that you have to use during your interactions with non-vegans. And why is it important? Because they have to use their brain to come to the conclusion, all right? I often hear activists, then when they hear the excuse of a non-vegan, they will tell, you know, just stop. You can stop. You can stop. No, you need to ask questions like, what's stopping you from changing your habit and be vegan so you're no longer the cause of animal exploitation. So questioning is very important, and after I'll show you what are the questions and the structure that we use in our conversations. Why? This is how. This is important, right? This, for example, relates to the health concerns, right? How to be vegan. Being vegan is very simple, and it's actually very important that you make being vegan simple, because you don't want the non-vegan you're talking to think that is something they have to research for days, you know, and they have to try a million things, or it's a challenge that will last 22 days, like challenge 22, all right? Veganism is very simple. You stop eating animal products and consuming animal products and eat plants. That's it. This is what they need to know, all right? These days, it is Google, there is plenty of plant-based professionals. If they care, if they have the why clear, and they do not want to be the cause of animal exploitation, they will find the how, right? I personally did the switch without any knowledge. Like I was eating rice and beans, you know? But yeah, if you have someone that has declared to go vegan, all right, this is where they earned our respect, as they start to respect animals. And this is when we can spend a little more time with them and share the knowledge that we have, if we have it. Vegetarianism and others disregard completely any description that is not vegan. All right, they think they are vegan allies. They're not. They're still exploiting animals. It doesn't matter at what level, in what quantity they're exploiting animals. So right now, what I do when I hear someone saying I'm vegetarian, I eat only meat on Saturdays, just when I go to my grandma, I just say, okay, so you still consume animal products. That's it. All right? Let's not validate their effort, because they're not really doing any effort. They're just doing what they feel comfortable as of right now. So there are unacceptable terms because they don't address the description of vegan or non-vegan, okay? I'm actually not going to read them. I'm just going to tell what's right to use, which is vegan, non-vegan, consuming animal products, not consuming animal products, okay? Because any of those will not include some group of people, okay? So it's not effective. All right, so now we're going to go through the actual protocol that we use. Activist from Anonymous for the Voiceless, do you want to do the role play?
Role play? Okay.
Want to do it? Come.
So we'll be the non-vegan.
You will be, yeah, you will be the non-vegan, yeah. All right, so yeah, we will have to share the mic. So come, yeah.
Hello.
All right. Anyway, I know the questions. We have another mic. How cool. So he's approaching the footage. How do you feel about those videos?
Actually, bad.
Bad? Okay. Sounds good. So what we're showing are standard practices of the meat, dairy, and egg industry and other products that exploit animals. How do you feel about animal exploitation? Would you be against it?
Yes, of course.
Sounds good. Do you think it's actually possible to be against animal exploitation if you then consume products such meat, dairy, and eggs that as a consequence exploit animals in ways like the ones that you're watching on the screens?
Well, but I mean, I get your point, but we need to eat meat for medical reasons, for our health. It's important.
Understand.
So
You don't
I
know?
can stop, of course.
Yeah. Do you know that vegans exist?
Yes, I know many friends that are vegan.
Okay, so that is actually possible to be vegan?
Yes, I think it's possible, but it is very hard. I don't think it is possible for me.
Okay, so but for let's make sure, like practically, like you can be healthy as a vegan, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So let me just give you clarification about what the veganism is. How would you describe veganism?
Well, I think that being vegan means eating plant-based, and I don't know. I never thought about it.
All right. So yeah, the diet part is a consequence of the principle of veganism, which is the principle that humans should not exploit animals for their benefits. All right. Would you agree with this principle?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So you mentioned it's difficult for you to be vegan. So what actually stops you from making a change and align your value on not wanting to exploit animals with your habits and be vegan?
Well, I think it is difficult because when I go and eat outside, so I cannot really decide on what to eat.
Okay. So it's like the options availability.
Yeah.
Do you think your need of having variety when you go to the restaurant justifies what you're watching on the screens?
Well, no.
No?
It doesn't.
Okay.
Not really. But it's just very hard for me to make the change.
Okay. But you agree that is not a good justification?
Yes, I can agree, yes.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If you were one of those animals, one of those chicken that are going through electrified water and they're about to be cut, right, across their neck, how quickly would you like your oppressor to stop?
Immediately.
Immediately. So what I'm asking you is to treat animals as you would like to be treated, all right? Do you know what's the number one benefit of being vegan? So for the animals, they are no longer abused, exploited because of you. And for you, when you say you are against animal exploitation, you're no longer a hypocrite. Does it make sense to you?
Yes. Yeah, it makes sense. Totally.
Okay. So after our conversation today, what are you going to do?
Well, I will try and take the steps to stop abusing animals.
Yeah. Stop exploiting animals isn't something you try. You should have taken action on. If you were the victim, would you like people to try, stop oppressing you, or just stop?
To choose to stop, not trying.
So from now on, what number of animals do you want to be exploited because of you?
0.
So vegan from now on?
Yes.
Good stuff. Actually, if there is someone who wants...
You need it?
Yeah. Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, someone wants to actually do a role play and try to be the activist. If someone wants to do it, we can do it. I know he's asking a lot. All right, it's fine. The example was fine, and that's it. I tried to keep this short. Something that I missed, and it is important. Did I miss it? Well, I don't know. I'll repeat it. So it's important when we talk about animal rights that we make our conversation about exploitation, not abuse, not mistreatment. We can use other words during the conversation, of course, but the reason why you want to focus on the exploitation, because the definition of exploitation is using someone for a benefit, right? And these will help you address excuses like crop death, right? The animals that die in crops, or the insects that die because of pesticides. We are not exploiting insects. These are the practices that we have for now to farm plants. We have to eat, right? If the world would be vegan, the farmers would find ways to not keep insects and reduce any kind of harm. But because non-vegans make excuses, we are not in a vegan world. And so yeah, that was an important part that I needed to add. I think I said it all though. Well, another cool trick that we use during the cubes is the 3 strikes protocol. If the person in front of you, the non-vegan, is going in circle, giving you around 3 excuses, it's a good sign that this person is not reachable. It's not going to change. Especially when those excuses are around like the same thing, What about the halal? Oh yeah, but this farm in Uganda that I go like every month to buy all my meat, it's good, all right? Or my grandmother. And so they're going in circles, so it's a good sign and a good trick to use to, stop the conversation after 3 excuses. And so yeah, I wanted to keep it short and leave space for questions if you have them. Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering, so much for your time. I was wondering how you measure the effectiveness of this kind of cubes.
So the effectiveness of this kind of cubes comes from people declaring to go vegan at the end. All right. So we do not have. I think. Do we have a method to actually track the people that go on the website? I think.
There was something on the website.
Yeah. Yeah, it tracked. So we have a tracking of the visit because we give more information with a card. So that's tracked. But me personally, and also we motivate activists to do it too, I track my conversation and I track the number of vegan, the number of people that declared to go vegan at the end of the conversation and the people who are not vegan. And this August, I went to a 30-day event, which was happening in Amsterdam, all right? So we did these 31 days in a row, 9 hours per day. I've been there 2 weeks and I had 260 conversations in total and 70 declared to go vegan. So I don't know how much that is in percentage, but it is a very, very, very effective way of doing activism. And the cards, we only give it to people who are open-minded, so we're not in the street leafletting, right, and giving cards. And during this action, I think we gave away 5,000 cards.
Maybe one more question. Do you also apply this principle in your private life, with your friends and family?
Yes, big time. Yeah, yes, absolutely. And also maybe this could help you as activists or in general vegans living in a non-vegan world. I stopped making all my social interactions about trying to convince people to go vegan unless they bring it up, because it's a fact that statistically people will not go vegan, will make excuses, they feel bad because they want to exploit animals and they're selfish. And I focus on the impact that I have while I do activism.
So thanks for the talk, and I like the authenticity of the approach. I think that's something that's missing in other social outreach. But one question I have is, what leads you to discard this kind of partial success? I'm calling it partial success. I think you wouldn't. So when I convince my friends, for instance, to have a vegan dinner with me, or like eat vegan for one meal every day, the way I understood you, it wouldn't be as necessarily like a success.
Are you happy about the fact that your friend is not vegan?
No, I'm not happy about it, but I think I am happy with the change.
Of course, it's not I disregard it, absolutely. I just think that it's important to be very direct first, so they have all they need to make that decision. Do I care about animals? Do I not? If I do, then the only thing that you can do is to be vegan. Once they have shown their true face, then pushing it is probably going to be useless. And yes, with the people around you that you see more often, then you can have this approach where you kind of try to make them, eat less animals and more animal products. And I also don't disregard the people that don't declare to go vegan, because I know there was a change. The only thing is that people make the mistake of thinking that people would change for health or environment, but rather they change when they feel someone made it clear that they're doing something wrong, right? So with Anonymous for the Voiceless, when we mean with planting seeds, we don't mean we're giving people some new information. We mean that this person is leaving the conversation knowing that they are the cause of animal exploitation, and they are just making excuses to continue being selfish. Next question. Is there a question? No?
Maybe there's more than one more from me. Do you have any negative interactions with people? How often do they happen? Is there any difficult side of your work with the cube?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say first of all, if there's who's from Athens here? Athens. All right. So we have started the AV chapter here. Actually, did they not put the picture? Oh yeah, it is. And pink hair there. So we did start it, and something negative is actually some people will attack your action in a trolling way. So they will be aggressive with words most of the time only with words. We had a farmer screaming at us on Friday. He tried to threaten me, it was this close to my face. You think you're stronger than me? You think you're stronger than me? And but luckily we found out that really works very well to ignore these people completely. At some point they will disappear. But for me the most negative conversations are the people that kind of admit to be selfish. Kind of they agree to all the points and they say, I just don't care enough. Yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
And about the AV chapter, if you guys want to join and you want to get active, and this is another thing, if you're a vegan, I don't know if it's a moral obligation for you to be an activist. I'm not sure. I'm still thinking about what's my position about this, but surely is a moral obligation to try. That's for sure. Maybe it's not your thing. I understand that. And working with other activists, I've seen how some people are just not made for it. And if you're not made for it, then it's better you don't do it. It's also true that there are other ways of doing activism. So find your way, but truly listen to that voice inside you that says that some change needs to happen, because animals only have vegans on their side, right? The rest, the non-vegans are the oppressors. So you are the one that has made the connection, and do your effort to make other people do the same connection that you made. So we're done? Yeah, cool. You like that? Yeah, give me something. Yeah. Let's put it back.
Have you ever had to talk to a group of kids about veganism and animals and animal exploitation? I'm talking about ages like from 8 to 9 and maybe teenagers. So I teach kids English, and because I bring my mugs, I work when they have vegan messages on them, or I wear t-shirts with vegan messages on them. I always get questions, like tons of questions from the kids, but there is only so much I can say to them. It's a little tricky. There's a little bit of a language barrier, but also because of their age. Have you ever had to do any kind of...
Yeah, before I was kind of, I wasn't speaking with kids, and I felt like maybe it's something too direct for them. But usually very young kids, they get it actually. So it's actually very important to outreach kids. But 9 years old, I think usually are the trolls, you know. Usually the trolls are like teenagers. I don't know, do you have some feedback about this?
I was thinking about this. I think that, like you say, the children are totally on point. They don't really make excuses, so they understand when they see an animal that is getting abused. They understand that that is wrong. They won't go around now. They just say, yes, that is wrong, I don't want to do this. I personally have seen many children crying in front of the screens and talking with the parents to stop this as soon as possible. Because most of the times, well, the only excuse that I can take with children is that their parents are not letting them. But I always think that when I was a child, I didn't want to eat zucchinis, for example, and there was no way that my mother would make me pay. Because if I didn't want to do something, there was no way that my parents would force me. So it's the same if you let them think about animals. So if they want to be on the side of the animals, there is no way that their parents are forcing them. And I mean, it's not the 100% statistics, of
Yeah.
course, but it kind of works.
And also, I think at this age, they really have a strong need of feeling part of a group. And so it's probably better if you have those conversations with teenagers, one by one. You know, when they are in the group, they're probably not going to listen.
That's true.
Yeah. We're good? Yeah? Nice. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
If you want,